Scared to start over? You're definitely not alone. In fact, if you're watching this video, you're probably one of millions of smart, capable people who feel completely paralyzed by the thought of changing direction. Maybe you're a pre-med student who secretly dreams of being an artist. Maybe you're an engineer who wants to start your own business. Or maybe you're just someone who's realized that the path you're on isn't making you happy anymore. Here's what I want you to know. That fear you're feeling, it's not a sign that you're not ready. It's actually a sign that you care deeply about making the right choice. And today, I'm going to share 3 powerful signs that indicate you're more ready to start over than you think. But first, let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah was a straight A student who got into medical school just like she'd planned since she was 12 years old. But during her first year, she found herself spending more time watching YouTube videos about graphic design than studying anatomy. She felt guilty, confused, and terrified. "I've invested 8 years of my life in this," she told herself. "I can't just throw it all away." Sound familiar? Sarah's story is the story of thousands of smart kids who feel trapped by their own success. But here's what Sarah discovered, and what you're about to discover too. Sign number 1, you're asking, what if instead of why me? This is huge, and most people completely miss this shift. When you're stuck in victim mode, your internal dialogue sounds like this. Why is this so hard for me? Why can't I just be happy with what I have? Why do I always complicate things? You're focused on the problem, not the possibilities. But when you catch yourself researching new possibilities, looking up different career paths, imagining alternative futures, or even just daydreaming about doing something completely different, that's your brain preparing for change. You've shifted from victim mode to explore mode. Let me give you some examples of what this looks like in real life. Maybe you find yourself browsing job postings in completely different fields, not because you're actively job hunting, but because you're curious. Maybe you're watching YouTube videos about skills you've never tried before. Maybe you're having conversations with people in different industries and asking them how they got started. This curiosity isn't procrastination or escapism. It's reconnaissance. Your subconscious mind is gathering information and building a map of possibilities. This is exactly what Sarah was doing when she was watching those graphic design videos. Her brain was exploring, even when her conscious mind was still committed to medical school. Here's the key insight. People who aren't ready to change don't do this kind of exploration. They either completely avoid thinking about alternatives, or they shut down the curiosity immediately. If you're actively wondering, what if, you're already further along in the process than you realize. Sign number 2, you're willing to be bad at something new. This is absolutely huge for smart kids who are used to being naturally good at everything from day one. Think about it. Throughout your academic career, you've probably been the person who picks things up quickly, who gets praised for being naturally talented, who rarely has to struggle with the basics. But starting over means being a beginner again. It means asking stupid questions, making obvious mistakes, and feeling incompetent while you learn. For someone whose identity is built around being smart and capable, this can feel like psychological torture. So here's the test. Can you imagine yourself stumbling through the learning process without your entire identity crumbling? Can you picture yourself being the worst person in the room for a while and being okay with that? If the answer is yes, even reluctantly, you've already overcome the biggest psychological barrier to starting over. Most smart kids can't get past this hurdle. They'd rather stay in a situation where they're competent but miserable than risk looking foolish in something new. Let me tell you about Marcus, a software engineer who wanted to become a chef. The hardest part wasn't leaving his six-figure salary or starting at the bottom of a new industry. The hardest part was walking into culinary school at age 30 and being surrounded by 18-year-olds who could dice onions faster than he could. His ego took a beating every single day. But Marcus had reached the point where he was willing to be bad at something he loved, rather than continue being good at something that drained his soul. That willingness to embrace temporary incompetence is a sign of profound readiness for change. Sign number 3. You're more excited about the future than attached to the past. This one is tricky because it involves what economists call the sunk cost fallacy. You've invested significant time, energy, and probably money in your current path. Maybe you've spent 4 years getting a degree, or 2 years in graduate school, or 5 years building experience in your current field. Your logical brain says, I can't waste all that investment. But here's the question that reveals everything. When you honestly think about continuing on your current trajectory for the next 5 years versus starting fresh in something new, which scenario gives you energy and which one drains it? Pay attention to your body when you imagine these futures. When you think about continuing your current path, do your shoulders tense up? Do you feel heavy or tired? When you imagine starting over, do you feel scared but also alive? Energized? Like there's possibility in the air? Sarah noticed this when she was deciding whether to leave medical school. When she imagined herself as a doctor in 5 years, she felt exhausted before she even started. But when she imagined herself as a graphic designer, even knowing she'd have to start from scratch, she felt this spark of excitement that she hadn't felt in years. Here's what most people don't understand. The time and energy you've invested in your current path isn't wasted if it leads you to a better understanding of what you actually want. Every experience teaches you something, even if it's just teaching you what you don't want. The question isn't whether you've invested too much to quit. The question is whether you're willing to invest the next 5 years of your life in something that doesn't light you up, just because you've already invested the last 5 years in it. Now, here's the truth that nobody tells you. Being scared doesn't mean you're not ready. It just means you're human. Every single expert in every field was once a complete beginner who was terrified of looking foolish. Steve Jobs was scared when he dropped out of college. Oprah was scared when she left her first television job. Even Einstein was scared when he challenged the established laws of physics. Fear is not the absence of readiness. It's the presence of something that matters to you. The difference between people who successfully start over and people who stay stuck isn't the absence of fear. It's the willingness to act in spite of the fear. It's understanding that courage isn't about not being scared. It's about being scared and doing it anyway. So, let me ask you this. As you've been listening to these 3 signs, which one resonated with you most? Are you someone who's shifted from why me to what if? Are you willing to be bad at something new? Are you more excited about a different future than attached to your current path? Here's what I want you to do right now. In the comments below, tell me which of these signs you recognize in yourself. Don't overthink it. Just go with your gut. And if you're feeling brave, tell me what you're considering starting over with. You might be surprised by how many people are in the exact same boat. Remember, the question isn't whether you're ready to start over. The question is, are you ready to stop letting fear make your decisions for you? If this video helped you recognize something about yourself, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content about navigating life transitions, building confidence, and creating a life that actually fits who you're becoming. Your next chapter is waiting. The only question is, are you ready to write it?